What if you suddenly became too expensive for the chaos you used to tolerate? And what you're about to discover is why that's the greatest promotion of your life. There is a moment in your journey when the universe recalculates your soul's currency. The world might have once priced you as common, but a silent shift has occurred. You have been reappraised. People who never noticed you will now sense a difference they can't name. Those who took you for granted will hesitate, sensing a new boundary. Why? Because your internal value has been upgraded, not by your resume, but by your resilience. When your spirit begins to ascend, not every connection can make the journey. They can't afford the ticket to where you're headed. You are not the person you were. You have been carved by hardship, strengthened by betrayal, and tempered in storms meant to shatter you. In that alchemy, you weren't just spared, you were transformed. You emerged clearer, more insightful, unshakable. The very heat that sought to consume you instead forged your core. And that is when your worth was recalibrated. Society tells you value is about possessions, status, or your address. But I'm here to tell you the real metric is what you've overcome without losing your light. Every unseen tear added a layer of depth to your being. Every solitary hour spent in reflection, with no audience, became an investment in your spirit. Every single time you selected calm over conflict, release over resentment, trust over terror, your value increased. The cosmos witnessed it all. It saw the restless nights, the silent wars, the ache you concealed behind a calm face. It saw you choose grace when you had every right to rage. It saw you offer kindness when your own reserves were depleted. It saw your heart fracture, yet your soul whisper, "I still believe." And in that moment the decision was made. It is time to elevate this one. That's the shift you're feeling now. Old distractions have lost their charm. Conversations that once captivated you now feel hollow. People who depleted your energy now find themselves on the outside. You have transcended certain spaces, not from a place of superiority, but because your inner compass has been reset. You have evolved. And anything that doesn't resonate with that new frequency feels dissonant. When your worth expands, not everyone will applaud. Some will question you. Some will claim you're not the same. And they are correct. You are not. Growth requires a departure. Transformation demands an ascent. You cannot climb and remain entangled in the same distractions that once held you back. Certain individuals were part of your history, not your destiny. When your value rises, your circle often tightens. This isn't abandonment, it is curation. Remember, a masterpiece doesn't lose its significance if it's temporarily stored away. Its worth is inherent, even when unseen. You were set apart for a purpose. The universe held you in reserve, not as punishment, but for preparation. While others sought the spotlight, you were in the workshop, building fortitude, deepening understanding, so that when you step forward, your light isn't a fleeting flash, but a lasting glow. Your challenges were not arbitrary. The struggle was the cost attached to your calling. Every hardship amplified your value in ways you are only beginning to grasp. You learned to remain standing when every part of you wanted to collapse. You learned to release when your heart was shattered. You learned to trust when you had nothing left. That is spiritual capital, a wealth that cannot be purchased or plundered. You did not exit that trial as the same individual. You walked out bearing more influence, more conviction, more serenity, more authority. When the universe decides to elevate you, it doesn't ask for permission. The decree is absolute and final. And when you are lifted, that position is secure. You owe no one an apology for your evolution, an explanation for your quiet, or a reason for your space. The energy you now carry communicates more powerfully than speech ever could. There are those who can no longer share your atmosphere, not from arrogance, but because your vibration has shifted. Your calm is a premium currency now. Your attention is intentional. Your presence is consecrated. You've learned that your essence is a treasure, and not every person has earned the right to access it. You paid the price in solitude, in sorrow, in seasons of patient waiting. And now the message is clear. You have earned the right to be deliberate. Your value increased the moment you understood your worth was not a popularity contest, but a divine selection. There was a chapter where you sought external validation, aimed to please, tried to belong. But now you know that inner quiet is better than crowd noise. Alignment is better than approval. Mission is better than recognition. This is the mark of spiritual adulthood. You cease needing the world's cheers when you are certain of your sacred worth. Some of you are asking why paths are vanishing, why bonds are dissolving, why things feel stalled. It isn't a curse, it's because your worth has been upgraded. The universe is recalibrating your surroundings to match your new valuation. You cannot operate from an old version of yourself when your spirit has been renewed. Some arenas are too small for who you have become. Some individuals cannot coexist with your newfound peace. Some circumstances are incompatible with your awakened purpose. When your value is raised, it is shielded by necessary distance. There was a time you accepted disrespect, made do with less, settled for fragments because you hadn't yet learned your own name. But now you have journeyed too far to pretend to be small. You have witnessed too much grace to accept what is unworthy of your path. You have been fractured and made whole, pressed down and lifted up, ignored and then seen. You have navigated shadows and discovered dawn again. That journey is what multiplied your worth. You are not just another face. You are a testament, a carrier of innate wisdom, a soul shaped by life itself. When you start living from this place of knowing, expect to be misinterpreted. People will say you've become remote, but they will not comprehend the price of your tranquility. They will say you are full of pride, but they will not see the strength it takes to walk from drama. They will say you've altered, but they will never know the inner work it took to arrive here. Let them have their opinions. You are not required to diminish yourself to soothe another's discomfort. You are designed to expand, not to contract. Your value is not up for debate. You cannot devalue your soul to gain acceptance from those blind to its radiance. To lower your standards to maintain a connection is to betray the very growth the universe cultivated within you. Do not express regret for your unfolding. Do not harbor guilt for surpassing certain individuals, patterns, or environments. The same force that elevated you will maintain you at this altitude. What has been planted within you is too potent to remain obscured among those who cannot appreciate it. When your worth rises, your quiet becomes more potent than your speech. Your peace becomes your proclamation. Your discipline becomes your legacy. You have no need to demonstrate who you are. Your very being carries the proof of an inner revolution. That is the effect of being elevated. You are marked by a serene authority. You enter a space and carry a stillness that others cannot decipher. You move with a new rhythm because you know to whom you ultimately answer. Do you know why your value increased? Because you ceased battling for those who never stood for you. You stopped justifying your essence to those who refused to see it. You stopped pleading for a love that came with conditions. And in that release, you found a profound quiet. That quiet became your crown. That trust became your shield. That self-regard became your foundation. And the universe nodded, for now you see that your worth was never meant to be haggled over. A recalibration is occurring in your life right now. You may not perceive it fully, but the indicators are present. The unease you feel is not penalty, it is placement. The solitude you feel is not desertion, it is arrangement. The cosmos is reordering your life so your essence can develop without obstruction. It is trimming ties that cannot bear the weight of your fruitfulness. It is shutting pathways that lead to dead ends. It is distinguishing you from what is beneath you to guide you toward what is destined for you. You once wept over people exiting your world, but now you will feel gratitude for their departure. Some leavings were blessings you couldn't recognize at the time. The universe knew certain souls could not appreciate you at this new level. Had they remained, they would have tried to drag you back to a version of you that has already been healed. When your worth increases, you do not run after what chooses to leave. You trust that what is destined for you will align with your value. There is a reason your spirit no longer finds nourishment in trivial chatter and superficial existence. You have sipped from the well of depth, and now you thirst for meaning. You have encountered authenticity, and now you long for clarity. You have heard the whisper of truth, and now all other sounds feel like static. That isn't conceit, it is development. When your value rises, average becomes agitating. Rumors feel alien. Turmoil feels burdensome. Serenity feels like your true home. That is how you recognize you have changed. Some of you are in a season of silence. You feel misread, invisible, perhaps even sidelined. But I tell you now, this is not your conclusion. This is your purification. The universe is polishing you in private for a public role. When a gem is polished, it isn't done with fanfare. It is worked on patiently until it gleams. That is your current position, in the refining process. Do not resent it. Do not hurry it. Your value is being fine-tuned, and when this phase is complete, the world will have no option but to witness your luminosity. This elevation isn't for ego, it's for impact. You are being prepared to touch lives, to hold space, to remain steadfast when others waver. Your worth is linked to your contribution. That is why your spirit had to be fortified, your resolve hardened, your intentions clarified. You could not bring an outdated mindset into this new chapter. The new level demands new focus, new calm, new benchmarks. When your worth expands, you cease chasing openings, you draw them to you. You stop straining in relationships, they unfold organically. You quit over-explaining, your energy communicates for you. You begin to walk with a sacred assurance, knowing that what is yours will recognize your signature and arrive without struggle. Every instant you remained compassionate when cynicism beckoned, your value climbed. Every time you chose faith over frenzy, trust over turmoil, forgiveness over friction, the universe noted you as one of its own. The world doesn't grasp how your core remained unbroken in the gale, how your peace survived the pressure. But the cosmos saw what you endured in quiet and declared, now they comprehend what it is to be selected. That is why your worth was raised, because your essence demonstrated it could hold weight without fracturing, withstand pressure without faith failing, and experience pain without growing cold. You see, the universe measures your value not by your comfort, but by your capacity to endure. Anyone can sing when the sun shines, but when you can hum a tune in the desert, when you can still express gratitude with a heavy heart, when you can still offer a gentle look when your soul is tired, then you are invaluable in the grand scheme. That is a worth the world cannot price. It is the coin of the spirit, earned through letting go and persistence. When the universe raises your value, it first raises your vision. It will not permit you to think in miniature any longer. It will begin to peel away the ceilings you once accepted. You'll notice a sacred dissatisfaction, a holy impatience. You'll begin to see that certain actions, certain conversations, certain companions no longer have a place in your world. That isn't snobbery, it is sacred selection. The universe is stating you cannot carry outdated baggage into your new destiny. You are too valuable now. Too much has been invested in your core for you to live at a discount. Your silence has become a tool. Your patience has become your protection. Your faith has become your medium of exchange. You are learning that stillness is not passivity, it is perception. You no longer engage with every provocation, every misinterpretation, every diversion. You have grown beyond that. You understand that some conflicts are unworthy of your energy. When your worth rises, you stop contending for your image and start preserving your peace, because you've learned that what is divinely guarded cannot be truly harmed. Many of you are approaching a stage where the universe is revealing who cannot continue on the path with you. The individuals you once depended on may begin to fade. The invitations may become less frequent. The encouragement you once had might vanish. But do not be troubled. That is not deprivation. It is readiness. The universe sheds ballast before a climb. It is making you lighter for flight. The hawk doesn't bring every creature with it into the heights. Some were never designed for your elevation. You are not being penalized. You are being positioned. The quiet, the aloneness, the separation, it is all part of the procedure. The universe is recalibrating your environment to harmonize with your spiritual worth. You cannot continue to function in a climate that no longer feeds your soul. You have moved beyond petty chatter, pointless disputes, and cycles that sap your vitality. The universe is calling you to a higher octave of calm, intention, and order. Some will say you've become difficult to contact. That's because you've become purposeful. Your hours, your focus, your feelings, they are sacred resources. You no longer expend them without thought. You realize that not everyone merits entry to your inner world. When your worth is increased, your intuition is also heightened. You start to perceive the distinction between those who cherish your light and those who seek to dim it. And you no longer say sorry for safeguarding the holiness within. When your value goes up, so do your limits. You stop allowing gossip, control, and pessimism. You start protecting your peace like a guardian protects a vault, because you know its worth. You see that tranquility is the ultimate asset, and once you possess it, you decline to exchange it for disorder. You learn to decline without shame, to depart without lengthy justification, to pause without excuse, because you finally grasp that your calm is the proof of a higher presence in your life. Your value isn't in your assets, it's in your attitude before the infinite. The quietly devoted hold more power than the loudly performative. Those who incline their hearts in trust, who seek direction rather than acclaim, who wait in trust instead of forcing results, those are the ones whose value compounds in the eyes of the cosmos. The universe increases the price of those who know how to remain rooted while reaching for the sky. You have faced trials that stripped away all but belief. That is why you carry yourself differently now. There is a poised strength about you, a quiet honor that defies explanation. That is what happens when your price is raised. You no longer pursue confirmation. You embody destiny. You no longer require the spotlight. You carry a natural authority. The challenges that once intimidated you now only serve as reminders of your own fortitude. Don't be startled if existence feels strained right now. The tension you feel is a signal that your spirit is outgrowing its former container. The universe is stretching you because growth always feels like pressure before it feels like liberation. You asked for elevation. Now it is being granted, though perhaps not as you imagined. It is testing your perseverance, probing your humility, honing your insight, because new stages demand new iterations of you. And let me share something profound. When the universe raises your value, it will not allow you to fit where you don't belong anymore. You'll enter certain situations and feel an internal nudge to exit. You'll attempt to engage with people and feel a disconnect. That isn't refusal, it is guidance. The universe is softly shutting the doors that are below your new level of worth. It is preserving your essence from dilution, shielding your energy from those who cannot honor your significance. The reason your spirit feels denser recently is because you are holding more illumination. The more the universe trusts you, the more stewardship it assigns you. The more you've endured, the broader your compassion becomes. That is why your value increased, not because of ego, but because of essence. You've been purified through ordeals that would have undone others. You've become someone who brings calm into tumult, insight into uncertainty, belief into apprehension. You are no longer a player in the world's cacophony. You are an emissary of stillness, dispatched by life itself. When you know your worth, you no longer look for solace in multitudes. You find joy in quiet. You discover peace in your own company. You realize that the same presence that guided you in the low places is now calling you to the summit, not for spectacle, but for perspective. From the peak, you understand that the ache of your past was not penalty, it was priming. Every sorrow, every letdown, every disillusionment was chiseling your spirit into something beyond price. You've traveled too far to return to a life of cheap imitations. You've wept too much to engage with confusion. You've invested too much to accept the mediocre. You are living evidence that life can take a story that was once dismissed and make it extraordinary. And because of that, you must now move with a sacred self-respect. You are not conceited. You are conscious. You are not aloof. You are attuned. You are not rigid. You are restored. When the universe elevates your value, it will examine your humility. It wants to ensure the new level doesn't corrupt your character. Remain grounded in your ascent. Do not forget the pleas you whispered in the wilderness. Do not forget the evenings you sought direction. Do not forget the instances when the infinite was your sole companion. Those memories are holy. They remind you what sustained you when no one else was there. Now that your value has been raised, walk with a quiet certainty. You don't need to proclaim your worth. The correct people will perceive it. You don't need to validate your growth. The outcomes will display it. The same force that lifted you will keep you elevated if you stay true. Every stage of promotion calls for a greater depth of humility. Every gift calls for responsibility. Every rise in value demands a rise in understanding. You are not being elevated for display. You are being elevated for duty. The universe is raising your worth so that your presence can mend, motivate, and fortify others. You are not just carrying gifts, you are carrying a charge. When individuals see your calm, they'll inquire about its source. When they see your strength, they'll question how you endured. And that's when you'll gesture beyond yourself and state it was a higher power all along. That is genuine elevation. To exist in a manner that gives it glory, not yourself. Never reduce your price to be comprehended. The ones destined for you will rise to meet your standard. The right people will acknowledge your peace, your wisdom, your integrity, and they will cherish it. You don't have to plead to be valued when you are walking in alignment with your purpose. The universe will encircle you with those who respect your essence, not just your exterior. And hear this truth. When your value increases, your struggles will also evolve. You'll face tests that require spiritual depth, but do not dread them. They are affirmations of your new altitude. Adversity does not assail what holds no significance. The resistance you feel is evidence of your importance. Stay rooted, stay faithful, keep your heart clear. Your rise will draw both admiration and opposition, but as long as you keep your focus on the divine, no scheme formed against you will succeed. The universe is preparing you for something grander than you can conceive. You believe this is about acknowledgement, but it's about awakening. It's revealing your own power to yourself. It's showing you that the same strength that upheld you in the dark is now leading you into the light. You are walking proof that no obstacle can halt what has been ordained. Your value increased because you ceased allowing pain to label you and started allowing purpose to mold you. You stopped lamenting what damaged you and started appreciating what it constructed within you. You stopped striving to belong and started standing in your truth. You stopped craving the spotlight and started carrying an unshakable calm. You are not who you were before, and that is a holy triumph. You are more valuable now not because the crowd declared it, but because existence decreed it. It saw your trust in the furnace, your perseverance in ache, your modesty in progress, and it said, "This one has been proven. This one can be entrusted." And when the universe trusts you, it expands you. When it expands you, it shields you. And when it shields you, nothing and no one can violate your peace. Your worth increased because your faith deepened. You no longer ask, "Why is this happening?" You now say, "How can this be used?" You no longer perceive obstacles, you perceive potential. You no longer dread conclusions, you trust the timing of the whole. That is the sign of spiritual ascent. That is how you know you've matured. You've learned that every loss was creating space for what you were meant to receive. When the universe raises your value, it also raises your visibility, but not for vanity, it's for purpose. You're not glowing just to be observed, you're glowing to guide. You are a living testament that life can take what was once ignored and make it impactful. That's why you endured what others could not, so your story could carry gravity, authority, and illumination. There is a profundity to your soul now that wasn't there previously. There is a knowing that can't be learned from books, a resilience that can't be gained through ease. You carry it because you've undergone the process of sacred refinement. You carry it because the universe itself has inscribed your narrative. When your value rises, it's not solely about what you acquire, it's also about what you release. You'll lose the urge to debate. You'll lose the need to be validated by others. You'll lose the appetite for theatrics, mess, and ambiguity. You'll lose the pattern of justifying your calm to those who prefer unrest. But in that release, you'll find a profound liberty, the kind of freedom that cannot be bestowed by people and cannot be stolen by situations. Because when the universe elevates your worth, it liberates you from every chain that once kept you confined. Some of you have wondered, why was I distanced from so many connections? Because your expansion threatened those who were comfortable with your limitation. Your calm unsettled those who profited from your distress. The universe had to protect your becoming by revoking access from those who only valued the less whole version of you. You see, there is a peril in being surrounded by individuals who recall your history but cannot honor your progress. The universe knew that as long as they had an open door to you, they'd keep speaking to your old scars instead of your newfound wisdom. That's why the space appeared, not to isolate you, but to conserve the work of art being completed within you. When you were at your most vulnerable, people assumed you were defeated. They misinterpreted your silence as surrender. But they didn't know your silence was sacred ground. It was where you were being remade by life itself. While they conversed, you converted. While they critiqued, you mended. While they wavered, you uncovered new power. That is the enigma of divine ascent. It occurs in secrecy until the moment the universe chooses to reveal it. And when it does, those who underestimated you will have no choice but to acknowledge that a greater hand was upon you all along. When your value increases, you start to realize that not every provocation warrants a reply. You stop defending your position because you comprehend that a higher justice operates on your behalf. You stop over-explaining your choices because you know the truth stands firm without a publicist. You stop pursuing people because you trust that what is destined for you will recognize your essence. That isn't arrogance, it is acceptance. You've learned that peace isn't the lack of trouble. It's the presence of a knowing that a benevolent intelligence governs all outcomes. The world instructs you to prove your worth through accomplishments, through metrics, through acceptance. But the universe confirms your worth through stamina, through trust, through alignment. The world cheers fame. The universe honors fidelity. The world applauds what's visible. The universe cherishes what's concealed. And that is why your value is eternal. It isn't constructed on ovations. It's built on authenticity. You've learned to stand when no one is watching, to give when no one is acknowledging, to believe when no one is agreeing. That is why you radiate differently now, because your worth emanates from within, not from external sources. You've entered a sacred shift where your power no longer flows where it isn't honored. You used to explain your heart to people who never intended to understand it. You used to seek affirmation from souls that were never equipped to offer it. But now you've learned to grant yourself the freedom to rest, to protect your quiet, to guard your mind. You've realized that when the universe values you, you no longer need humanity to certify you. The certification of the cosmos outweighs the praise of the planet. Your value increased because you learned to rely on the universe's quiet periods. When answers didn't come, you didn't turn away. You persisted. When there was a delay, you didn't falter. You remained steady. That endurance became your power. That waiting became your insight. You discovered that silence isn't emptiness, it is construction. The universe was building something inside you that required quiet. It was preparing you for a season that required maturity. You cannot hasten a process when the outcome is sacred. Every period of intensity was creating something lasting. You believed you were being crushed, but you were being sculpted. You believed you were losing, but you were being refined. You believed you were alone, but you were being set apart. And now that you've emerged from the fire, you carry a radiance that can't be manufactured, a peace that can't be purchased, and a trust that can't be shaken. That is what occurs when your value is raised. You no longer react impulsively, you respond consciously. You no longer protest, you perceive the bigger picture. You no longer fear, you move with a grounded trust. You've ceased trying to prove your identity because you know it at your core. You've realized that your quietness unnerves those who once fed on your uncertainties. Your calm agitates those who once manipulated you through chaos. Your growth reveals those who never intended for you to succeed. But do not contract for anyone. You were not created to remain concealed indefinitely. When the universe declares it is your time, your light will pierce every darkness, and your presence will command respect, not through volume, but through essence. The greater your value, the greater your obligation. When the universe increases your worth, it expects you to guard your purity. Your words, your deeds, your energy, they must mirror your new station. Not every critic deserves your attention. Not every offer deserves your yes. You are moving into a chapter where your quiet will resonate more than your declarations. Your peace will unlock opportunities that clamor never could. Your alignment will release blessings that striving alone couldn't attain. The universe is synchronizing all things for your benefit. The very trials that once tested you will now testify to your endurance. The very pain that once weakened you will now prove your resilience. Because when your value is increased, every experience you endured starts to find its place. You will soon see why certain individuals had to depart, why certain pathways had to seal, why certain intervals felt like penalty. It wasn't penalty, it was preservation. The universe was elevating your standard, adjusting your surroundings, and preparing your stage. It was ensuring that when you step into the next level, nothing from the previous level could taint it. Now you can stand in quiet confidence, knowing that your worth is not connected to others' perceptions. It is connected to how you were shaped. You are not for bargain, not for concession, not for utility. You are owned by purpose. You are sealed with peace. You are walking proof that sacred timing is real. When the universe elevates your worth, not everyone will grasp it. Some will wonder why you're not as available as you once were. They'll murmur that you've changed, that you've become less reachable. But what they fail to see is that your value has expanded because your purpose has deepened. The universe is not lifting you to amaze people. It's lifting you to complete a mission. You are not walking away from others out of self-importance. You're walking toward the higher ground where you have been called. When the season turns, your landscape must turn with it. You can't keep occupying the same seat when your place has already been reset. Some individuals were designed only for your opening act, not your entire saga. When the universe increases your value, it means your spiritual frequency is shifting. You're no longer meant to engage with what once engaged you. You're no longer meant to explain your journey to those who are vibrationally deaf to your transformation. There are moments when quiet becomes your safeguard, because not everyone deserves admission to the new self that is being constructed. You're not proud, you're being preserved. You're not indifferent, you're being polished. When your worth ascends, your network must condense, because not every person has the capability to handle your spiritual upgrade. Some were only drawn to your fragmented self. They preferred you when you were unsure, when you were fragile, when you needed their endorsement. But now that the universe has mended your core and reinforced your spirit, they feel uneasy near you. That's because your confidence in the divine highlights their doubts. Your peace reflects their turmoil. Your growth reminds them of their own stagnation. And yet, you must not reduce your brightness to put others at ease. If the universe chose to intensify your light, it's because it trusts you to bear its signature without apology. When your value rises, the resistance will also intensify. Don't be shocked when you encounter greater pushback. That's an indicator that you've become a more significant concern to the status quo. You've transitioned from surviving to influencing. Opposition doesn't waste its resources on those who are stationary. It confronts those who are ascending, those who are becoming potent in their faith. Every challenge, every confusion, every blocked path is simply confirmation that you're advancing in the eyes of the cosmos. You see, the universe never promotes without a test. Before it raises your value, it allows pressure to purify you. A diamond doesn't sparkle until it's been faceted. Gold doesn't radiate until it's been through the furnace. You might feel under strain right now, but that isn't ruin. That's development. The universe is squeezing out the obsolete version of you so the clarified version can emerge. When the process is painful, it's evidence that something holy is being formed within. You must remember, not everything that decreases in your experience is a deficit. Sometimes the universe subtracts so it can multiply later. It takes away artificial friendships so it can provide genuine alliances. It closes dead-end corridors so it can open passageways to destiny. When you see people exiting, do not run after them. When you see structures crumbling, do not fear. If your value has been raised, it means your setting must upgrade as well. You cannot squeeze into the same confines where you once accepted less. The universe doesn't raise your worth for you to remain average. It raises it so that your life mirrors its magnificence. Your value increased because you withstood what was intended to break you. You persevered through treachery and kept your heart clean. You wept in private and still chose to believe. You journeyed through the flames and were not consumed. That kind of toughness is not inexpensive. The universe has stamped you with rare strength. Your anointing was acquired through ordeal. Your peace was won through struggle. Your wisdom was gained through experience. Do not let anyone treat it as trivial. The marks on your soul are not badges of loss. They're evidence that you've been through something that only a higher power could bring you through. There will be those who recall your old self and attempt to drag you back to it. They'll say, "You used to be more accessible." But what they label as accessible, the universe calls evolved. You've outgrown dialogues that lead nowhere, partnerships that exhaust your spirit, and settings that mute your inner voice. You've learned that your time is holy, your peace is invaluable, and your energy is divine. That's why your boundaries are not hostility, they're spiritual intelligence. The universe raised your value, and now you protect what it has invested in you. Let this truth anchor itself deep within you. You are not for everybody. Not everyone can afford your company. When the universe increases your worth, it naturally restricts your availability. That's why you can't be open to every request or every person anymore. You are not meant to be omnipresent. You are meant to be potent where you are placed. And potency requires concentration, not fame. Stop explaining why you're not always reachable. The universe set you apart because it's preparing you for holy assignments. When your value goes up, humility must go down deeper. The higher the universe lifts you, the lower you must kneel in thankfulness. Recall, it was not your striving alone that brought you here. It was its benevolence. It was its favor that held you when you didn't even grasp what was happening. Every advancement comes with a duty, and every gift comes with an accountability. The universe didn't raise your worth for you to gloat. It did it so you could reflect its excellence on earth. So when people can't handle your metamorphosis, wish them well and continue forward. Do not argue. Do not defend. Do not shrink your spirit to fit a space you have outgrown. The universe saw your hidden struggles, your quiet perseverance, your unwavering trust, and it said, "The time is now. You've been examined, refined, and found reliable. Your worth is no longer measured by popular vote, but by cosmic decree." Your value increased because you learned to walk by conviction when everything seemed hopeless. You learned to rely on the universe when reason said quit. You learned to be motionless when chaos swirled around you. That kind of faith cannot be counterfeited. That kind of evolution cannot be purchased. It's forged in the unknown, built in seclusion, and validated in hardship. You became who you are, not because the path was smooth, but because you refused to surrender when the path became rugged. And now the universe states you are prepared. Prepared for larger responsibilities, prepared for more profound peace, prepared for uncommon favor. You've passed examinations that others failed because your trust was anchored not in convenience, but in truth. You didn't allow resentment to triumph. You didn't allow setbacks to label you. You stayed constant. And now the cosmos acknowledges your worth. When you walk now, walk with a quiet assurance. You don't need to announce that your value has been upgraded. Your peace will announce it for you. Your presence will carry weight. Your words will have substance. The same individuals who once overlooked you will begin to regard you differently because the universe itself has endorsed you. Your peace is your new price tag. You outgrow people not from pride, but from purpose. And this is just the beginning of what's possible when you fully embrace this upgrade. If this message resonated with you, please like this video and follow Winds of Thought for more insights on navigating your spiritual journey.